We economic hitmen worked in many different ways, but probably the most typical way was that we would identify a country, like a third world country, that had resources that our corporations want, such as oil. And then we would arrange a huge loan to that country from an organization like the World Bank. But most of the money would go directly to some U.S. construction company or other contractor, such as a Bechtel or a Halliburton. And those companies then would build huge infrastructure projects in this third world country, like power plants, industrial parks, ports. When Charles T. Main had a contract with the government, my job was to inflate the need as high as I could, make the loan as big as I could, and this was, in essence, a policy.
Among the more important undertakings for the benefit of the Saudi Arabs, wholly unconnected with oil operations, is the full-scale agricultural experiment project that is underway at Al-Kharj. This irrigation canal, which the oil company helped the Saudi Arab government to build, is bringing water to an area of nearly 3,000 acres now under intensive cultivation.
But the whole country would be stuck holding a huge debt, a debt so large that it couldn't possibly repay it. So at some point, we economic hitmen would go back to that country and say, look, you can't repay your loan, so do us a favor. Vote with us on the next critical United Nations vote, or send troops in support of ours to someplace in the world like Iraq, or most importantly, sell your oil to us real cheap, or your labor pool, or some other resource that we want. So it's an amazingly clever scheme, because the lines for tracing it were very hazy. These private companies are paid by the government, but they're paid under these misleading contracts. So for instance, Charles T. Main is hired to do economic hitman work, but it's considered engineering feasibility studies or economic feasibility study, and there was no direct connection. And of course, the other interesting thing is the money, we didn't even have to get the money that we loaned the countries. We got it through the World Bank. We'd set up an organization that was there to provide the money to do this. So we didn't need to provide it. Our own government, the United States government, didn't have to provide it, except we'd provide some to the World Bank. So we didn't even have to put up the money. And in that way, we've managed in the last 30 or 40 years to build the world's first truly global empire. And we've done it primarily without the military, primarily through economic hitmen.